like coconut head right now, bro, because he's growing.
Oh, you got the beaver cut.
Well, like Mowgli.
It looks like a young Bieber, huh?
Oh my god, bro. He doesn't even know beaver like that, bro. Oh my goodness. How
Jimmy has a
was
question for you.
the card? It was a card convention, right? Like it was a whole thing. That's so cool. How did you like it?
It was so fun.
What was it? Nice. I saw your dad sent us a video of I don't remember exactly what it was. But we were like putting some cards in a binder. What was that? What was going on?
You want to show him real fast?
Yes.
Oh man.
He's hyped for it, bro.
That was the quickest answer I've ever seen.
He's hyped for it.
He didn't even finish the question. He said yes.
But you have to explain to him what he's looking at because he doesn't know what it is.
I don't know.
Okay?
Damien.
I don't know a Bulbasaur.
Do you know like the original 151?
You just dropped a bunch of cards, man.
Cannot lie to you. I know like Charmander, Pikachu.
No. Basically what he's asking you if you know that there's the first generation of Pokemon was 151 is what he's asking you.
I didn't know the number, but I know there's like an original set. Yeah, I didn't know how many. That's a lot actually.
So explain to me.
It's not a set. We got all of them.
Okay.
All the original.
Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff.
You want to show him?
Yes.
All right. So, you can't really see all of them, all the cards, but this War Turtle right here, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
but it's like the full art one from the new set 151. Peanut did his own trade on that one.
Okay.
Traded cards for that one. He's very happy about this one.
That one looks sick.
It's sick. And then, so another one that he traded for was, this is probably like his best trade of the night, I would say. Let me see. Right here. Corpse probably remembers this card. Gyarados from Gym Challenges.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, I was about to say Magikarp, but that is sick.
Bro, this is probably the sickest card that he got that night.
What's his face? I can't remember the dude's name, but yeah, it's the gym leader's card.
Giovanni.
Card. Yeah, Giovanni.
That's sick.
But anyway, so we completed from the Pokedex number 1 all the way through
151.
That's so cool.
Good job, dude.
Yeah, bro. He's got a whole mix of like modern cards. He's got a mix of like
old cards
from when we were kids. Like these cards are from when me and Putch were kids.
Japanese cards, English cards.
Nice,
Dang,
dude.
That's cool.
So the goal next is to do
Gen 2.
the next generation.
Okay. Wait, how many are in the next generation?
100.
101.
Oh, 101.
Yeah, it's from 151 to 252.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You want to say anything else about the card show before you go back and read? No? Do you want to say bye at least?
Bye.
Bye, Peanut.
Later, man. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations with your cards, man.
Away.
That is sick, bro. That is really
So,
cool.
yeah, it was sick. Oh, he got his first slab, too. Peanut. Where's your slab at? Oh, did you hear his feet? His first graded card. His first graded card.
Oh, nice. I was about to ask what a slab is. What is that? Does that stand for something?
No, it's like you'll see why it's called a slab in a second.
It's the cover. Watch, you'll see.
Oh,
so
little slabs.
Yeah, so his card got sent
what
into PSA for grading. Some Magikarp.
Oh,
you got a graded Magikarp. What you get on your grade, bud?
Grade 7.
Nice. That's
but it's
good,
sick because
bro.
this is a Toys R Us promo, so it has like the Toys R Us label on there.
Okay,
that's cool.
And it's his favorite. It's his favorite Pokemon.
Ray, do you think that's going to be a card that you keep for a long time, or is that one that you're willing to put up on the market?
Keep.
Keep. That's a keeper. That's your keeper. There you go.
This is very important to me.
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
man, it's your first slab, bro. I was about to say it's your first slab. So cool. Elijah's first slab was an Alakazam card, dude.
Oh, that's a cool Pokemon. That one I know.
That's sick. That's sick.
That is really cool. Congrats, Peanut.
Thank you.
All right,
Very
go
Of
for
welcome.
course,
it.
man. What man? Shit. I wish I had my cards all right here. I would have showed him some of. I showed him some of Elijah's,
He
but
gets so
it's all
hyped,
good.
bro. Like, I
All right for
with
him.
with Pokemon is so mind blowing to me because, bro, he has like three. Oh, wait. I gotta show you what he did with your binder that
Oh
you
yeah,
gave him.
yeah.
Peanut. He'll get the binder of awesomeness. That's what he calls it. The binder of awesomeness. So so Damien bought him a binder for his birthday, like a little binder, and he filled it up with all his trade cards. So any cards that are worth money or
That's
that
great.
he's willing to trade for when we go to shows,
Yes.
he filled it up with all those cards. And then on top of that, I don't know if you knew this or not, D, but the binder that you got him can hold big cards
Yeah, one of
too.
the biggest ones.
Yeah, so he filled up all the big cards.
Oh, those are
Nice.
gigantic. Holy.
Yeah, bro. So this is the binder of awesomeness.
Nice.
Yes.
Good use. Good use. That's so cool.
Oh, wait, I said did hear of this.
No, that's okay. It's okay, son. He needs to read. If not, we would be at this all night.
That's cool. I'm glad he likes it. And yet you guys had fun. That looked really cool.
Yeah, it's been fun, bro. It's just fucking expensive.
Yeah. I
Yeah, it's an
imagine.
expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Feels like every hobby is an expensive hobby these days.
Well, Pokemon too, for sure. Like this bitch ass resell. I'm so sorry, but the whack resellers all stepped in, and now they bomb rush Target. And then next thing you're paying $25 for a $9 pack of cards. So it's like y'all's messing up the game, bro. Like stop. Like I get everybody's on their hustle, but they got to knock that off.
Yeah, it does suck. Anywhere. Like even my cousin works at Target and he could only get cards because he knows when they're like officially coming in. And I know all the like resellers do too. Like they ask people and then
Yeah, they find out.
just rush it. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then there's cool people. So there's cool like YouTubers and stuff. So in October, one of the YouTubers that Peanut watches, we're gonna go see him at a card show with that are super cool, bro. Like they support the kids doing it. You know what I mean? Like they'll like trade a 50-cent card for like a card that's worth $20 because they know it's hard for the kids to get it and shit like that. So there are people that do good shit. Like there was so many people at the card show that we went to, like that when I told him I was like, oh, it's his first event, he's so hyped for it. And they saw that I was letting him do the trades, like, hey, whatever you feel comfortable trading. Like they were very uh open with how they did the card evaluations and explaining how negotiations work and stuff like that. So I mean he got pretty good knowledge from it being his first show.
That's cool. Yeah, it is really cool. I feel like most people are like really I don't know, just super nice and supportive and stuff like that. I mean, it's just, the scalpers
There's some
and
that are dicks, bro.
yeah,
There's
the
a lot of
dickheads.
dicks, bro. A lot.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Especially in that
But
space. Because a lot of people look at it as there's a lot of us like older cats that grew up with Pokemon that still collect Pokemon and shit, you know what I mean? So we're the ones that they try and take advantage of.
yeah. I guess that's true.
Unfortunately.
That is true. That is true.
But yeah, card show was good. I'm glad we're back this week though.
Yes,
Yeah,
it makes me ecstatic.
it makes
to
me
see the
happy only because I know about it. You know what I mean? Like I'm just familiar with this, so I kind of like. Plus, I've been into trading cards for a lot of my life, and I know how to go about that kind of stuff and do trading card stuff.
Yeah. That is cool. I'm bummed I never really got into it. I never got into like the trading. For me, it was always like, I know y'all clown me with the Bakugan, but that was what I was into. But I never got into as big as it was in my school. It was never like, let's play for cards or like, let's trade this card for that card. It was always like, whatever pack you open, like that's what you play with, and that's it. Like, there was not really much trading.
So yeah, like I ever since I've been playing Magic, I've never really been into trading either.
Okay, okay.
It's always been like I do those drafts. Like you went to to a draft with me
Mm-hmm.
one time. That's like my biggest thing because I like the thinking behind it. You know what I mean? Like you have to everybody gets the same amount of packs. Everybody gets the same chances with the cards that they're getting, and you have to figure out how to make the most superior deck out of 12 to 20 people and win that tournament for that night. Like
Mm.
that I like that out of anything. I've never been big into like making decks to go to tournaments and play those tournaments. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like well I never know the rules too much for these, especially these other games, but like is it pretty common for people to build decks that are like god decks, like all right bro, like nobody's beating you because you have XYZ and it's unbeatable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, there's banned cards though. That's why they ban
because
cards
of
in
that.
modern sets. Hmm.
There's cards that, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's some that are just super unfair, really. And even, I mean, that is though why you build your deck that way,
Mm.
just for the fact of you still have to pull the card in a certain order, like. But there are certain cards where there was like weak ones. I think it was like the man, what is it, man eating bug, which was like a super
What?
weak card in Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah.
right? But it had a super unique gift, right, as far as its function. And there was other ones that they banned because if you had those two cards and you played them a certain way, like you can create a loop.
Oh, I
Do you get
see.
what I'm saying?
Like
Like
it
you're
would never,
creating.
your turn would never end or something like that.
Yeah, bro. And there's other ones, right? That where judges will step in, right? Because it's like my card and your card is creating this loop, but
Hmm.
there's also cards that create that loop just out of your hand, boom, throwing it down.
I
Now
see.
we've created this space loop that you just can't escape. And it took forever for people to get there, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
I had like water decks, dude, for Yu-Gi-Oh. Uh I had binders for Pokemon like dedicated to certain types.
That's wild. That's
Like
cool.
psychic types were my favorite, so I had a psychic type
Hmm.
Pokemon binder. Uh, I mean, I was autistic enough to where I color coordinated most of them, honestly.
That's how Peanut was when he first started collecting, and I was like, man, we can't do this because once you get a new card, because it was like color coordinated and then like alphabetical, and if we got a new
Oh
card, then
man.
this card had to move, and then all the cards had to move, and I was like, hey, we can't do this, bro. Like,
Come on, man.
yeah,
That's wild. To color coordinate and alphabetical. I think it's
like,
Well,
gnarly.
but yeah. In Magic, it's different though because each color in Magic does some like does
Yeah.
something different.
Represents
It's
something
weird.
else.
Yeah, like blue cards are like spell cards, and green cards are to like make your creatures grow bigger in attack and stuff like that. So it's different when it's color coordinated that way. Pokemon
Mm.
not so much. It's just different types.
Yeah.
I will
But
just
my
say it's impressive the way that kids do some stuff when they ain't got nothing else to worry about.
bro, facts. I've seen these binders get redone probably like 15 to 20 times.
Different types have different abilities.
That's true. Tell them. Let them know.
But my biggest pet peeve, here's my biggest pet peeve for any card game I've ever played is, and last when I was in MagicCon, this dude pissed me off. If you're playing a deck, because I signed up for a tournament. If you're playing a deck, like you have to have sleeves on it. That's like my biggest fucking pet peeves. If you're fucking shuffling raw
Oh my
cards
god.
Yeah.
like typical playing cards and you're just shuffling oh my god, bro, I will buy you sleeves. Like let me go buy you some $5 sleeves just so that you're not fucking I hate that, bro. It drives me that's like my biggest pet peeve.
What if they do that to get in your head, bro?
This guy was he had like a
So
$50
funny.
card in his deck, and he was like, "Oh yeah, bro, these cards are nothing," and we're just like scratching them all up and shit. I'm like, "Oh my god." Uh, if I showed you my collection of just sleeves,
That's funny. Yeah, yeah.
you would be probably be impressed.
That's cool though. I agree. I agree to keep things pretty pristine. I just like that. Just in general, it's just nice to have the things that look nice and protected.
Gotta protect it, baby.
Gotta protect it.
Gotta protect it. Gotta protect it.
Got
You
to.
know, I wouldn't be opposed to you teaching me how to play Bakugan.
It's
I
been
know
a
I give you a hard time about it,
it's been a
but I
minute.
wouldn't mind.
It's been a long time. I'd probably have
But
to.
you gotta let me try and teach you how to play Magic again.
Oh yeah, we tried that. That was cool. That was cool. It was a lot all at once, so I didn't really. I feel like I just couldn't drop in and play it again. But I feel like getting into Bakugan again, it would be like riding a bike a little bit. Like I got a couple games. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, and then I'll get into
That's
it.
how I felt about Magic because there was like a good 5 years that I stopped playing,
Yeah.
just because I didn't really have anybody to play with. And then once I got back out there again and saw all the butt cracks, and I
Hmm.
was like, oh yeah, this is home, baby. I'm back.
I'm back. Deep breath.
Yeah. Oh, it feels good to be home. MagicCon was filled with them, bro. It was awesome.
That is funny.
It's so weird, like being in that type of atmosphere and loving this game so much, but I don't fit like that stereotype. I mean, I got the tism
Hmm.
a little bit, you know what I mean? But like to be at a Magic convention wearing like Jordans and like my pants pulled all the way up is it's kind of
Wearing a
weird.
belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
That is funny. Um, hey, as long as you love the game, man, that's all you need. I need to
Yeah,
see that
that's all.
set. Um, no, that's cool.
I'll show you a set.
Oh shit! Wait, but just before the show, we were talking about Do you know what insults were thrown? But just before the show, sorry, we were talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson and
Oh,
Bill Maher crashing out on Neil deGrasse
Bill
Tyson. That shit
Maher.
was insane.
What were the
Um,
insults? What?
there was there was conversation that was being had around um certain topics of like he was talking Neil deGrasse specifically was speaking about something about the youth and the people of the youth. And Bill Maher kind of pushed back, right, with some questioning, and which quickly turned into, I mean, and during all of this, they're like talking over each other, right? And then it turned into uh Neil said something along the lines to Bill Maher of like, "Oh, is this why you don't play at like colleges anymore? Like maybe you're just not funny to the youth anymore. Maybe they just don't get you because you're so disconnected from them." And that's when you see like hold my beer. Like, Bill Maher steps in, like the old Bill Maher steps into the fold. And they started kind of going at it a little bit. Um there was even, as this conversation goes on, I thought the most impressive part for them to sit there and argue over was Neil is a big proponent. I don't know if people if they know this, but he's a huge proponent of women and men intermingled sports. He's a huge proponent for it. And Bill Maher, being as all the words Democrat, left leaning, whatever, whatever, liberal, whatever. He's one of them, right? He's generally seen as one of those, right? Um, and he pushed back on that pretty hard. He pushed back on that idea pretty hard, and then it kind of turned into a small boxing match of words, and then that's when Bill Maher cut the pod. So there was a list. There was a lengthy,
Couple things.
like it was in, like I'm telling you, when I watched the like compilation video of it, I was just stunned that these were like some of the top, like saying that Bill Maher's not funny is a fucking stretch, bro. Even if I don't like his political views, he's funny, bro. Like he's a funny dude.
He's
And
never
to
made me
like
laugh. I don't know, bro.
And then
I
Bill
was like,
Maher said something to Neil deGrasse, like, "Oh, well, you must not know science that well if you can't say that this is biology." It's like, whoa, dog. Let's reel this back, like, because now this is just insults, like, and you made a point earlier about like, well, you could say it's like it's a certain line of questioning that pushes to where an insult can get thrown out, and it's like, yeah, by like normal standards, you know what I'm saying? But like when you have two intellectual minds that are coming for this philosophical debate, the one who insults first is the one who loses. That's what I was taught in philosophy class. Like during debate, the one that results to an insult first is the one who loses. They have lost. They can no longer counter your argument with more logic, with more rational thinking. To be inside of your emotions so much that I'm disrespecting this person that's invited me, into their home, into their podcast studio. They've invited me into this place and have met me with food and drinks, like, and good hospitality. Like I'm insulting you because you're pushing back on my idea. Like, no, we're having a conversation. And you might not like the line of questioning and you might not like the words I use, but debate isn't about what we like. It's about boiling down what's true. I mean, at least this is how I see the situation boiling out.
sure. I would agree.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
The only thing that I could, and you've already alluded to it, me saying there's certain, I don't want to say like lines of questioning, but there are certain people who I have watched, and you see the breadcrumbs of like small jabs. Like there are jabs where it's like, oh, that was a jab, but then there are even smaller things that amount to one insult, of like a small breadcrumb here, and throughout a conversation those can build up to the point where the other person could explode or give into the final like, oh well, you're fucking stupid, whatever. And visually you're like, oh, that was the first insult, but really it could have been like I'm not saying that's what happened here. I'm just saying that I've seen that too, where it's like you technically did say the first insult of like non-substance argument on this subject, but technically like this guy was kind of going at you very slightly until it hit 100. We just couldn't notice because the temperature was going up so slowly. You know what I mean?
At least from
Perfect example of that one. The Ben Shapiro clip. When the trans lady is like, "You say that again, you'll be leaving in the ambulance," or something like, "You'll be going home in the ambulance." Have you guys seen
wasn't
that
that
clip?
Caitlyn Jenner?
Wasn't?
No, it wasn't Caitlyn Jenner.
I'm almost positive
It wasn't.
Caitlyn
It
Jenner.
wasn't. No, I
It's
have
not
seen
Caitlyn
that.
Jenner.
That you reached down in the recesses of my brain just now, Cisco.
Somebody Google that. That is
like
Googleable information, but yes, I do remember that. That shit was iconic.
No,
because Ben Shapiro's like I will call this person him because every part of his body is a man or blah blah blah. Like I can see what you're saying. Like he's throwing jabs.
It's like
by saying that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like very
I
light.
can see what you're saying.
Like non-abrasive, just taps to the point where you're like, "Aight, bro, like what the fuck?" And then it's like, whoa.
But it's the wrong arena.
Yeah, but Shapiro, in that, like, we'll take that example. Shapiro, it's Bruce. It wasn't. Wait.
It is Bruce Jenner.
No, it wasn't.
No. They're talking about Caitlyn Jenner in that clip.
That's right.
That's what it is.
But he's sitting next to somebody else.
Correct. They are talking about Caitlyn Jenner. And he said, I'll call him Bruce Jenner because,
every part of his biology, all that.
That's okay. Cleared that up.
But you were right. Yes,
Caitlyn I don't want to go home in a stretcher.
Was involved in that clip. They were just not sitting next to.
Brothers. I will agree with you.
That's like a perfect example of that. I didn't think about that. Like I didn't think about like, oh, this person finally got fed up with it. But isn't that But is it insult when they're saying the truth? You know what I mean? Like it's factual.
I think there's debate in which you might be able to talk about the subject at hand because you both want to really nail down the the facts and really see who's right. And in that, I think part of the agreement is to be, I'm not going to like bend to every, like in this case, like pronoun that you want me to use, whatever, but I'm going to stick to whatever's factually relevant, and also in the way that's going to facilitate the best conversation, if that makes sense. So not trying to be extra inflammatory by expressing his biology, his penis, his whatever, you know what I mean? It's more of like, well, because of the.
But I feel like that leans on the point that they're trying to make, though, by doing that.
I think like, you know what reaction that's going to elicit given the way that
you know what it
came out.
was? You know what it was? No, Ben Shapiro showed, and I think this is a part that people are walking by. And I don't like Ben Shapiro, right? Not a fan of him.
I do.
But he
to.
showed you how quickly that whole facade drops when they feel insulted.
But yeah, that's everybody.
this is what I
Does. That's
hate about
everybody.
this.
Everybody does
Yeah,
that.
you can't say they, because I
Men
hate
do
it.
that.
This is
Women
the
do
argument I
that.
hate.
Like, everybody does this.
What lady would have told Ben Shapiro, "Oh, I'll make you leave in a stretcher"?
Bro, there is MMA fighters. There's fucking wrestlers who will say that shit. What?
Who's gonna sit there over Bruce Jenner? Over talking about Bruce Jenner. Who's gonna come to bat for him like that?
Maybe
Amanda
somebody that
Nunes?
just feels attacked.
Yeah.
Amanda Nunes. But you see, like, there's a verbiage, there's a knee jerk, there's a certain illicit reaction that he got exactly what he was looking for. He wanted to expose. It was that. It wasn't the answer. He didn't care.
Yes,
like,
I
yeah,
will
let me.
say. Yes, I will say Ben Shapiro. Now that Damien like put that in my head and made it make that make sense. Yes, he got the reaction that he was looking for, so that he could say like, "Look at how the other side acts." That's smart. It's smart business. It's smart debating.
But that's not debating. That's like, what you're doing is it's like, oh, what's like I'm trying to think of like another good analogy, but it's just like, I don't know, if somebody would be like, yeah, bro, everybody runs in these halls, it's horrible. Like, okay, make your case. It's like, well, I'm gonna light a fire in a classroom and then yell fire, and everybody's running down the thing.
No, I don't think it's that.
And then
I
you're
don't think
like,
it's
bro,
that.
look,
No.
everybody fucking runs down this hallway.
No. Nah. I don't think it's that. That's not a good analogy. For
Okay,
that
I was
situation.
trying to do it on the fly. You know, not all of them are gonna be good. My
I
batting
saw
average.
where you were going with it. I saw where you were going with it, but let's be honest, because not everybody would have reacted that same way in that situation.
No, but I'm saying you're working to elicit that reaction, and then like, oh, look, it's like, bro, yeah, no shit. Like, yes, they're gonna react this way because
But
you've been.
to Putch's argument, it still was just all factual. Nothing that Ben Shapiro said was not factual, so therefore it is still debating.
And there's been points
Because
made on this podcast.
the shots again were not at this person directly.
I agree.
And there's been points made on this podcast, right? From all angles. And I'm just trying to make sure that we all maintain consistency, right? Everybody has the right to voice their opinions, and everybody has the right to voice their opinion without fear of being violently acted upon, right? So when we're having debate, if I'm debating Bruce and I decide to call him Bruce and say, hey, do you remember when you were a dude, you used to do this?
Yeah,
if I start listening,
can't say that after. You can't say remember when you were a dude, because now you're showing
after,
that you should be.
I'm not talking about
Galen.
before. I'm not talking about before or after the debate. Inside of that confine, all of it is very relevant information. And I think if you say, hey, this is, this upsets me or whatever, like, that's fine. And I don't want anyone to ever get it confused. I acknowledge that you have the right to feel the way that you feel, but that does not mean that you have the right to be on the debate stage. If you cannot handle this, find a better champion. Find somebody who can combat the ideas better than you can. And not to say that you don't know your life or that you don't have the right to feel heard, but maybe you write down on the fucking card and give it to your buddy who can withstand the jabs from a Ben Shapiro or rest in peace Charlie Kirk or a Candace Owens or who's another right wing debater. I guess Piers
Stevenson
Morgan,
Crowder.
the Crowders, the Tucker
Bro,
Carlsons,
Crowder,
you
I
know,
can't even watch anymore. Holy.
the names. I mean, just keep throwing them out, right?
No,
Or
Crowder's a joke.
find the left-handers, the fucking the Destinies and the what's the stupid kid's name, the Parkers and the Neils and the fucking Bill Maher's and everybody else. Like
Nobody was stupid when he said right wing though.
That is.
Well, yeah, no, Parker is. He makes logic leaps. I watched some clips of his recently, and it's like, bro, you make these astounding logic leaps, and then like he's really bad for like using the Bible to disprove a certain point, but then also uses it in the same time to prove other points.
Oh,
And
I think
that's
I
like
know. He's like a TikTok live streamer, right? He like mainly
yeah,
does TikTok
yeah.
live
I mean, he's
streaming.
gotten rather famous.
He tried to debate Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
He was there when they did that sit down for
Kirk was
Jubilee.
ducking him.
I got on his TikTok live a few times when I was in Ohio.
I also don't like that guy. I just don't like the way he speaks. It drives me fucking nuts.
God.
I never.
It's too fast. It's too like, and then he'll be like, no, you tell me. And then as soon as you try and say something, then he's like Porky Pig again, bro. Like
I never really watched him. But
yeah, I wouldn't debate him either. I've heard that same accusation that Kirk and some of the other dudes have been ducking him, but then there's been other platforms.
Kirk was ducking him, bro.
I don't believe that for a second. Because there's been other platforms like when he went on Piers, he got smoked on Piers because there is a time limit for how long you can talk, right? Jubilees and all these other yes, him and the other one
horrible on the Jubilee in my opinion.
Yeah, him and the other little skinny one went up on Piers Morgan, bro. And they got dumped. God, and because it's what about us? But did you know? But did you know? But did you really? But it's like, whoa, dog. I'm trying to address 6 different questions and you're not arguing me. Like the arguments, like I'm saying, when you use, I'm not going to debate a Muslim by trying to quote the Quran to disprove, let alone, and then use the Quran to also prove my point. Like, no. Like if it's wrong, it's wrong. And I can't use it to try to verify my beliefs, let alone, like debunk theirs. And I feel like a lot of people do that with the Bible. Like they really try really hard to be like, oh, well, doesn't it say this? Well, how can it be this if you believe in this? And then it's like, oh, but you don't read the scripture, bro. Like you're cherry picking lines and trying to dance in them.
I feel like you could use a text to both prove and disprove things that other people believe and prove what you believe. I feel like that's fine. I'm saying that more like I feel that as like a knee-jerk like assumptive reality and not necessarily like I've thought this through and I know exactly what I would say.
No, okay, so but I used to think that too, right? I used to think that I could confirm the divinity of Jesus Christ through the scriptures of the Quran, because in the Quran they say that Jesus Christ is the holiest of prophets, right? And that he is the Son of God. But see, there is details in that they're not quite getting right. So they're using the Bible, words in the Bible, but they're not saying it correctly. And I will say this. When Jesus was tempted by the devil said it was written. So he knows scripture. Right?
He knows ball.
They say Jesus, he knows ball. They say Jesus is the Son of God, right? Christians say that he is the Son of God.
Okay.
But Muslims do not believe that he is God. Christians do. They believe that he is one of the 3 pieces of the Godhead, right? That's where they try to say, like, that's why you cannot try to use pieces from my scripture to try to validate your scripture and proving that mine is wrong. You can't. It's that's cherry picking. Because yes, because my religion claims that he's the Son of God. They also say that he is the Son not a son of man, but the Son of Man, that he is the one that was, is, and to come, that he was there that before Abraham, that the Muslims also believe in, I am. So you can't I used to think that, bro. I used to seriously think that, I can't use anything in the Quran to verify Christianity.
But no, but I agree with D because a lot of people believe that and I won't use the Bible, right? But I'll just say this part. A lot of people believe that what's in the Bible is up for interpretation based off of what you read and how you read it and how you perceive it, right? That's what a lot of people believe. So let's just take Harry Potter, for example. You and I have both read the book, right? And we're debating about Harry Potter and why we think certain things. And at the end of the story, he fucking destroys the Elder Wand and throws it off the fucking cliff. And I think that he did that to preserve that type of power from any other wizard or witch in the land. And you're like, nah, fuck that. He did it because he had the power to do it, or whatever. We read the same book. We're talking about the same thing. I'm using this portion to disprove what you might believe based off of. Now I'm going to go back in the book and say that he said no wizard or witch should ever be that strong, and that's why I believe what he said his action at the end of the book. Now I'm using that to disprove what you believe, and then using something from earlier in the book to prove what I believe. That's what Damien's saying.
Yes, close, but still not the same potatoes. And I'll explain it like this. I'll explain it biblically, and then I'll also explain it in the way that you've just presented it to me, because I do like that conundrum that you presented, because I just read this. In the scriptures, all of the gospel writers, right, the people who witnessed Christ, there was an incident where one of the priests from the Sanhedrin got his ear cut off, right, by the followers of Christ. It was during a fight. And nobody names who cut the ear except John. John goes, it was Peter. And if you know the story, if you know the story, they were kind of fighting for position with Christ, to be his favorite, right? So he's like, it was him, he did it. So it was everybody else though have their own perspective of the same thing that they all witnessed. Do you get what I'm saying? So we can argue over biblically, we can argue whether or not when we take the Eucharist, if it was really Jesus's blood or not. We can argue if when I drink that wine, if it turns into his blood inside my body, or if it's just juice, right? It's just grape juice.
It's just juice. Guys.
We can argue that one, right? We can argue that one. Just like Harry Potter, we can argue he did it so that nobody will have the power, or he did it because of this, or he did it because of that. We can argue that, but what's the fact? The fact is this: Harry did this, he threw it off the bridge. Right. All the gospel writers all saw somebody get their ear cut off. Only one person testified to what happened. Right. So yeah, even though in that example we actually knew who did what, but it's not the same as trying to say, oh, this text over here about a certain thing is going to prove, and not only prove and disprove what I got going on.
But what if even with within what you've presented, like the Quran and the Bible, instead of labeling it as cherry picking, what if it's a continuation and added context of the already existing story? So if we could even take Harry Potter, and let's say Harry supposedly breaks the wand, the Elder Wand, throws it off a bridge, but then there's a second story that is then published that goes beyond Harry and his friends and that whole adventure, that you find within one of the stories, one of the chapters. It's not very elaborated on, but the main character of this story happens to be under the bridge that Harry throws the wand under, and he says that a stick falls from the sky and it's barely broken but mendable. And then it's not a big it's not the main subject of the story, right? But it's a fact within that you could say is oh, this is cherry picking from Harry Potter, but it further proves the existence of the ability of the Elder Wand to still exist in this universe. Could you then use that to then further prove that in the future, and then and then separately stories within that sub book, right, that gives further context in that whole universe could then go back and disprove things that have already happened in Harry Potter, if that makes sense.
Because
I like that idea, and because that is what you have with the Gospels of Jesus Christ, right? The Gospel of Jesus Christ, which is also considered the New Testament, is a continuation of the Old Testament, the Torah,
let's
the
hear the
Tanakh.
correct.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
And Jesus
Yeah.
is supposed to be the fulfillment of all these prophecies that were stated in all these other books, right? Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, Kings, all the Old Testament. And Jesus is supposed to be the one that the prophet Daniel spoke of, the one that the prophet Isaiah spoke of, Elijah, and everybody else. The problem, this is a problem that you even have with people within our own cast of faith, right? Is this God, I'm gonna say some stuff I might offend people, but I really don't care. Some people say that Christians try to write Jesus into the Old Testament, right? While Christians believe that Jesus is the fulfillment of the Old Testament and its prophecies. So I can get you on the extension, right, of that right there, where yes, after 500 and some years, boom, this guy hits the scene and it's the Messiah. I get that part right there. But then all these other 100 years later, some other dude pops up and says, yo, this like magical spirit came to me and revealed to me the Quran. That one gets funky when everybody inside of the Quran holds no like there's like no historical standing of them, right? Like there's no real historical standing of Muhammad. There's no real historical standing like the saints. You can go find parts of their body parts if you go to the right like monasteries, or like pieces of the cross, right? Like there's real historical manuscripts that state that Jesus Christ was a real person, Jesus of Nazareth. So that one gets really, really, really squirrely, because if the Bible is true 100%, and if the Torah is 100% true, then anything coming after that, it gets hard. It's hard to take its validity, because even inside of the Quran, it says, if you cannot believe in the words you find inside of these scriptures, find the scriptures of your forefathers. And if you cannot believe this revelation, understand that this is the last revelation. So what was the first one? The revelation of Jesus Christ. So it's like, like, I don't know. Like, why would I read this if I could just read this? It's already been existed. It's already here. Do you get why that's a weird, literarily, that doesn't make sense?
But that's what the people like the Parkers are trying to do, and they try and find contradiction in the script that right wing people are using, and then go back and say, if you believe in what you read in this so much, then I'm going to use this as an example. Look, I'm so glad that we're talking about error in script and interpretation, because in this book that Peanut's reading,
you literally, I saw you tell him to give you that
because we
book.
just talked about this yesterday, because it's up to interpretation, in my opinion. An anthology of aquatic life. Okay, do you guys know what the largest living animal is?
A whale.
It's a blue whale.
Blue whale is the largest living animal, measuring 100 feet. So why in the same book, 2 pages difference, does it say that the bootlace worm can grow to 180 feet?
Can grow.
Okay, on average, 80 to 100 feet. Can grow up to 180 feet.
I mean, there has been one measured at 180 feet at one point in time.
So how can you say that the largest living animal is the blue whale? I'll tell you why.
Okay, sure.
I'll tell you why, and this is the explanation that I gave Peanut because he said, "Dad, why does it say that the largest animal in the world is
Mm,
100 feet,
Peanut.
but this says that thing can grow to 180 feet? Because it's the largest, not the longest. The
Hmm.
longest animal could be the bootlace worm, which could be considered an insect, which is part of the animal kingdom, where the blue whale is the largest by width
Mass.
and
Yeah, yeah.
length. That's why it's considered the largest. This could
Hmm.
be considered the longest insect. So it's up to interpretation. And there could be contradiction in text. And I think that's what the people like the Parkers are trying to do. They're trying to find contradiction in text based off of how you view it.
I would not have considered that a contradiction, though. I would consider, I would consider, right, a lack of clarity on the author's part, and then I would also put a big stamp on my lack of understanding in the words they're choosing to use, right? Like, because the
But could that not
silk,
be contradiction? An insect is an animal.
it is an animal.
And it could be considered the largest animal at 180 feet.
Yes, it can be,
I
right?
don't.
But
I
if it's
don't think so.
average, it like I kind of lean a little towards Damien on that one, where I think in the ways in which they're speaking on its actual length or its size, they're talking about its rough average, right? Where we could say like, "Oh, Dad, how long does a human usually live?" It's like, "Oh, about 75, 80 years." It's like, "Oh, well, why is this person 110?" It's like, "Oh, well, baby, they're just really old." Like, like some people do live to be hella old, you know?
I wouldn't
Um,
even say average. I would have thought mass. Just like whenever you're like, what's the largest animal? I would have said like, well, I said blue. I said whale, but I think of like how 3D big as shit you are.
mhm.
3D big as shit.
But but if you were to tell me like trees, even like if you were like, this is the tallest tree, or sorry, this is the biggest tree. It's big as hell, and he's like, the average of these trees are 100 feet tall, and he's like, and then this is the red oak. I don't know how tall they go, and this one's 170 feet tall on average. You're like, wait, but that last one was the biggest tree. You're like, yeah, like in terms of girth and how just big it is, volume wise. That's what I would think of when I think of a largest.
Sure. Okay. But
See,
again,
and
again, it's up to interpretation, right? But in this text, let me find the page one more time. Hold on one second, because it's very interesting. You said wording is important, right?
mhm.
You
Mhm.
said wording is important. So sure, I could get behind you, Corpse, and say like, oh yeah, I would have gone up to the author and said, why did you word it like this? But literally, literally in this thing, it
Oh
says
no.
180 feet, 180 feet. This is almost twice as long as a blue whale. Is the next sentence.
That's funny. The
somebody
comparison
needs
is
to
funny. The
somebody needs to stop chat GPT and shit, bro. Is writing crazy sentences,
It
dog.
literally says,
the comparison is funny as hell.
washed up after a storm, measured 180 feet. This is almost as twice as long as a blue whale. This is literally the
At
next sentence.
180.
At
At
180
180.
feet.
But they're talking about a specific worm that washed up on the shore.
That was 180 feet.
But I
This
yeah,
worm can get to
That's what
180
the
feet.
point I'm trying to
You're
get to on
saying
that
it's
one.
it could be an anomaly,
I don't even think it's
like it's
averages
the
they're
100.
talking about.
I,
From
I agree. I'm just
oh
talking
okay.
about how there could be contradiction or something that you could consider a contradiction in writing. Literally 2 pages over, they're talking
Mm.
about the largest animal in the world. So that's what
I
I'm saying. We're going back to the original argument, right? Is that the original argument was you don't like the people like Parker or the other skinny kid that was on fucking Pierce Morgan because they take scriptures out of the Bible to combat what's being said and then use scriptures in the Bible to prove their point. That was the original point that we were debating right now, right?
mm-hmm.
But I don't see why that's a bad thing. I don't see why that's a bad thing. They're
Because
literally using script that you know, that you've read, that they know you've read, to give you a different example of how it could be interpreted.
okay, because if you read the Bible and read it, it states that it's not up for our interpretations, right? So a big problem that we're all in a big problem, especially like somebody like him, is cool, bro. Like be an atheist or be whatever that you are, right? But if you're going to if you're going to use this as some kind of example for why God doesn't exist, you need to understand the scripture a whole lot better, right? Like completely better. Okay. There's times when he spoke of
Wait.
which
But is the argument that God doesn't exist?
there's
Is that
there's
what
been
we're
a
saying
there's
that the
been a
argument
list of
is?
stuff. There was a list of stuff, right? So there was like a thing one time I heard him saying something. It was one of them where it was saying like, is God the Father? It's like, yes, God the Father. It's like, so he has a gender, he's a male. It's like,
Oh, that was on the Jubilee one.
it's
Yes.
like, no, that's not how that works actually at all. Like, oh, well, then what is it? It's like, oh, so he has like, will you? And I still remember like watching as it's like, bro, you got to understand when these words are coming down, boom, 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 they're getting translated and put into these words, right? As a Now, as a curious Christian who wants to learn and who is, see, I don't,
Got him started.
okay,
Started the engine,
you
baby.
guys know the verse, but you're about to say it wrong, right? In the beginning, who created the heavens and the earth?
God did.
No, he did not.
Damn.
The word is Elohim.
DJ Khaled.
Elohim is the plural, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you know that there was more than one. That's how when we look back and we say, oh, God the Father, the Son, and thy Holy Spirit, right? The three pieces of the one. So when they say, oh, well, it says this in your Bible, right? It says, upon this rock, I'll build my church. It's like, actually, you're wrong, right? It says that we'll build this establishment. It's like a governmental, speaking of like a governmental structure, right? To rebuild the temple and rebuild the Sanhedrin, rebuild the church, the church, a place of operation. Peter, they talk about Peter. Yeah, it's Peter, right? Like the word for rock. Upon this rock, Peter, who then became the patriarch of the Roman Catholic Church, the first pope. Like you got to understand the words that you're reading and knowing them in their context, right? Like you can't talk about oh, if God was so loving, how could he sacrifice his only son? It's like, yeah, true, but do you understand Old Testament? Do you understand Abraham and Isaac and what he asked Abraham to do? Do you understand what Isaac was doing? Okay, cool. Now you see why he did what he did. Now you have to double back and see how certain things get fulfilled. And he's just not doing that. You're taking a piece of scripture, setting it aside and said, oh, I can argue it this way because I live this way or I see the world this way. And it's like, no. If you're going to argue the scripture, right, this is why you can't use it to try to disprove itself. It creates this ever-ending loop. I've never ever tried to take Harry Potter and try to prove that Lord of the Rings exist. I've never taken Lord of the Rings and tried to prove Harry Potter exists. It just doesn't work that way. One will eventually, both have magic, both have flying, talking fucking animals and beasts and all kinds of crazy
those are wholly different texts. That
wholly different text play.
But that don't even necessarily like they have no base in reality in which that we share the Bible. Ideally, his disciples actually lived here. They roamed the earth like we did, where you might find creatures in one that don't exist in the other, or magic, and how the magic works and why the magic works, whatever it may be.
Just saying. I can appreciate that point, but I'm just saying.
I get that. I think the biggest contradiction is saying that there's that a belief system isn't up for interpretation and then it all be enshrined in text. I think that's funny.
I think the interpretation comes from our worldviews, let alone not as much as our spiritual view on what we're reading.
But to understand, I think to get an overall grasp of what you're even reading, there's going to be embedded in it so much bias by our nature that without exit the political, exit the anything, you're still going to have a structure of things that you like, don't like, and things that you prefer and don't prefer.
So first, that's why you seek the advice of a teacher. Second, everything you said is exactly what's wrong with us as people. You, I don't want to hear, don't want to interpret, don't want to sense.
Sure, I'm not saying that it's right.
Every religion,
Mhm.
this is why I don't care really what people believe in. But there's not a singular religion that I've came across besides like Satanism that tells you me, be inside of this, right? Like this thing. Everything else encourages us to escape that, to be outside of this thing, right? To be outside of these things. Like I smoke weed because one day I started smoking weed and I just kept fucking smoking weed. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But that's not who I am. I'm outside of that. Like that jacket that we put on when we're frustrated, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Every single religion, every single thing calls us to be outside of that. Bro, I read the Bible a lot and get mad. I
Mhm.
do. Right? Because it shines a light on the ignorance that I'm perpetrating in my own life.
Sure.
Right? Jesus tells us to pray. People want to interpret, well, how much should I pray? Oh, it's praying if I close my eyes and I do this and da da da. God knows when you're praying. He tells us to fast. Well, what's fasting? Well, fasting is this for me. Fasting is that for me. Blah, blah, blah. Fasting is described as the things that afflict the flesh and causes us to get closer to God. That is fasting. Not, ooh, I didn't eat fucking soy today. I'm fasting. It's not a fast. So I think there's actually less for our interpretation than we really think.
I think
We
though
want to interpret.
I can agree with all of that, and all of that is very philosophical. I think most people, even the people who might think that they're doing it right and have every intention to do it right, as people, we're just blind to all the ways that we can be doing it wrong because
Yes.
of the ego and because of the the unknown of how our thought process and the way that the brain is structured can sway our understanding or our visual, like how we, I guess, how we read the text itself.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I never stepped away from a dance move unless I learned it.
okay, but
I hear what you're saying. I under completely, bro. Completely. It took me 18 years really to like really pick up the Bible again. Read it again, you know.
mhm.
Yeah, I get it. Like there's a lot. And anybody who's on any kind of spiritual endeavor, right? There's going to be a lot, but like that is I heard a really funny joke. I just got to throw this in there, right? He goes, Jesus Christ, Hamas really brought a knife to a space laser fight. The dude says, I don't understand how this war is going on so long when the other team bows and prays in the same direction 5 times a day.
Wait,
But
but
there's something about that, right? Like you just like how you made the statement of, how do I even know if I'm praying right? How do I know if I'm doing this? And I love Islamic beliefs of the rigidity of like, hey, bro, it's this time of day. We're all about to sit down and pray. Put down everything you're doing. We're going to pray. I wouldn't even know how to act. I wouldn't know what to do other than like kind of look over and be like, all right, I got to do the fucking, you know, until after a while, I don't have to look over no more. And then after a while, it's just a part of the nature. And then after a while, I'm telling my kids, hey guys, it's time for prayer. That's how you learn. That's how you learn.
yeah, well, that, I think that speaks more to like like a, actually
In all things.
I think that would be perfect to lend to the point that I'm trying to make as well,
Mm-hmm.
that the brain is structured in such a way that you do things and might read things incorrectly or do things incorrectly in ways that you don't even understand, because the modern day person celebrates Christmas for what? We don't know. We set up a tree and we put presents under there
Mm-hmm.
because we don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
the mind is structured to societally fit, so that way we are like everyone else in ways that we can't even begin to understand until we look at, like, wait, why do I Why do I put up the tree? What's that about? Why do I put a star at the top of it? There
That's
is
why
an
they say we're
underband.
born
Yeah, there's an
into.
into what?
That's why they say we're born into it. We're born into the sin. That's why they say. That's why they say it that way. That's why we're born. That's I used to hate that because it was like, no, babies are innocent. Like, like, no, babies are innocent. Like, you know what I mean? Which they are. But from the moment they come out, they're already under the pressures of societal norms, right? They're already under, like, think about in China, bro. Like, they euthanize children, or had been for forever, like, right? Like, they used to euthanize girls for forever. I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't want to misspeak on that.
I don't think they do that anymore. But yes,
But
that
historically, right?
That was a thing for
like,
a while. Yeah,
that's insane, Dick.
Insanity.
Like, that's insane. That's us being born into it, bro, and motherfuckers got to figure that out. Like, that's a figure outable problem.
There's actually an amazing book about that I read a long time ago, based off of that. It's called Among the Hidden. It was a fucking amazing book.
Oh, I was like, whoa, whose team are you batting for, bro? Holy smokes, dude!
Cisco's like, that's actually a pretty base practice, guys. We should
No.
I'm just playing. But no, what I was trying to point out there was the assumption that it's even possible to read a text that's uninterpretable seems impossible. Like, not uninterpretable in the sense of there's no way to understand it, but that there's only one way to understand it. I
agree, and the only reason I'll say that is because if the Bible was not up for interpretation, right? Like, as you say, it's supposed to be solidified what it is. This is exactly what it means.
100%.
It's 100%. If you read the Bible, you know what it's supposed to, what you're reading. That's what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that was the case, with Christianity being the largest religion, why do all Christians not live that way?
What sucks
with
is
reading the Bible and understanding, because the text is not supposed to be up for interpretation. It's supposed to be clear cut and precise. Why do all Christians not live the same?
So you also have the issue of the human nature, right? So let's take we'll go Catholic, because that's an easy one for us, right? We've all had our experiences. Peter is the holy saint of the church, right? And Peter was one of Jesus's closest friends.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was also tasked, right, with helping spread the gospel, right? And he created this structure, which later on became bishops and cardinals and the Pope, right? Then they instilled the practice of catechism, receiving baptism and confirmation, taking the name of a saint, right? All these things. Now, do you place value on the tradition that Peter established, the person who walked with Christ, who was commissioned by Christ? If you respect and honor the traditions that he respected and honored, you'd end up being a Catholic, right? But if you're like, no, you know what? I think the highest sacrament that we see in the Bible, right, based off of these verses, is baptism. So we're going to baptize everybody. You'd end up a Baptist, So what you have, it's less of a disagreement on what the scripture actually says versus the traditions that came along with it. Does that am I making sense on that?
Because you're still reading the same book.
You're not going to get anybody to argue. You won't get anybody to argue the points that make us all the same, right? That's why I can break bread with any of them, because the Bible tells us not to people who are of the same cloth.
So, but you're saying right now that if we brought a Baptist, we'll say like equal level to as much as you've studied. Okay, I'm not gonna say anybody higher or anybody lower. Anybody that's dabbled in the same right now. You're saying right now, if I brought a Catholic, a Baptist, and you, and sat you in the same room, you guys would agree on every single thing that the text in the Bible says.
We would agree on the facets. I think the 5 facets that make any kind of religious debate worth it, right? Who is the purveyor of the faith, right? We will all agree that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, Son of Man, the
But that's
Messiah.
sure
Point blank.
that's not up for debate though.
But that's up for interpretation when you go to certain sects, right? Because if you go to our brethren who their Bible, aka the Torah, is a part of our required reading, they will tell you Jesus is not Messiah. He was a prophet. He was not speaking to God. He was speaking to Elijah. Nope. So inside of the Christian faith, see, you get what I'm saying? We will argue the traditions. Certain Jews have the curly hair on the sides, right? They believe the keeping of the hair. Some of them believe in the taking of the moil, right? They have certain traditions that they uphold, traditions, but the law of Moses they maintain. And the belief that the third temple will be built when their Messiah returns, they maintain. They do not argue that. No Christian is going to argue what revelation will look like. No Christian is going to argue with you if they believe Elijah rose in a pillar of fire, right? They're not going to argue with you if taking of the Lord's table is a holy sacrament. It's a holy sacrament.
Yeah, but
What
you're
they will,
saying no Christian. Would a Christian and a Catholic argue about that?
they're both Christians.
But what I'm
That's
saying,
all Christianity.
but you're saying the tradition is different, right?
How they hold the
Baptist,
tradition, how
Baptist, or anybody
what
that
they hold as
the
a
point that I'm trying
tradition.
to make, Corpse, is you're saying that the Bible is not up for interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is anybody who reads the whole Bible, I don't care if it's the laws of Moses, I don't care if it's the 10 commandments, I don't care if it's Jesus is Lord and God the Savior. What I'm saying is the
Mm-hmm.
whole Bible in itself that
Mm-hmm.
everybody is supposed to read.
Mm-hmm.
There will be no debate about the actual Bible itself. Because you're the one who said it's not up for interpretation.
It's not.
It's clear cut and precise. So would there
Absolutely.
be debate between anybody that has read the Bible and in the same length that you have, with the same study that you have, you think that everybody understands? You don't think at any point that you would be teaching something to somebody that understands the Bible the
Mm.
same way you do?
Keeping of traditions. That's it. That's your main difference, bro, between every faith. Or I don't want to say faith. Every section that you have of Christianity, right? So I don't know how I want to put this. There's nowhere in the scriptures, right, that say that you have to be baptized, that you have to receive confirmation, take the name of a saint to enter into heaven. The early church fathers established that tradition after reading Holy Scripture of Jesus being baptized by John the Baptist, the miracle of the dove coming down from the sky, and God speaking through the clouds. They said, okay, the act of baptism is something powerful. There was later on in Scripture where Jesus also spoke of being baptized by the waters of life, right? So they said, okay, here is a further confirmation of that. So they just kept looking through the lessons that Jesus Christ taught, and they said, hey, you know what? To maintain this tradition and to respect the things that he himself endeavored, we will practice this sacrament of baptism. That you will get them to argue. Are you going too far with the way that you're reading the Bible? Do we really have to do that? That you will argue. But you will not get them to argue, hey, did that happen in this verse on this chapter? Right?
Yeah, but
You're
see, but you're admitting right then and there that it is up for interpretation because they interpret that is what is the most important. Therefore, they are practice that tradition because they believe that
Jesus
it is
himself though
such
did not
importance.
say that though, save. That's where I
I
think we're getting hung up.
but I'm
Humans,
under
right?
no,
The
but I'm
Bible,
understanding that he didn't say that, but they interpreted that
yes, and
much of
they
its
took it.
importance.
Oh, but hold on. You're mixing if they will argue over the Bible, right?
about
I'm
how
trying to
clear cut and precise it is,
and I'm trying
because
to
it's not
understand.
up for interpretation.
Yes, and that is fine. The tenets of the Bible, what Jesus actually said, those things we all maintain.
But
You're
what I'm
not going to.
saying,
There's no Christian alive, a person who says I am a follower of Jesus Christ X, Y, and Z. To be a true saved, repented Christian, you have to admit that Jesus Christ is the way, the life, the Savior, all of that, right?
sure,
So
I'm not
there's
disagreeing with
nobody
that.
else who. Okay, so all the other lessons, the commandments, all of that, we all maintain that. That's what he taught. The Sermon
Correct.
on the Mount, that's what he taught, right?
Yes,
That we will never argue. That's not
sure.
something we're going to sit there and argue over. That's where I'm putting that stop right there. Boom.
But
Right?
then why? So then, but why would? Okay, so then why, if the Bible's not up for interpretation,
Why would they pick up
why?
those traditions?
Correct, because of the interpretation of the importance of that tradition.
No, I think it's less of an interpretation and more of trying to honor something that somebody did.
Because of because they believe it's that important. What, I don't understand how I'm not making any sense. D, can you chime in? And I mean, am I making sense?
Yes.
I hear I can hear what you're saying. But where I say
I think we're
interpretation of the
like
Bible
the
stop,
thing is that I think we're kind of talking past each other a little bit, because on one hand, Cisco's hitting on he is hitting on the traditions and the fact that because different people hold the traditions of higher value, there's that argument of interpretation, and you're more talking about the actual verbiage and what was actually said within the stories of the
said and
Bible.
taught.
And nobody, I don't think there's any debate on what the actual language is in the Bible. That's fine. But what is extracted out of the Bible is what is important, what is up for interpretation because of the lessons that you have to take. And everybody will take those differently and to various different importance. And we have different beliefs or structures or different, religious views.
So let's talk traditions and interpretations, right? So where I see a tradition versus an interpretation, right? Everybody says in the beginning, God created, right?
There was the word.
It's Elohim, right? No, that's the beginning of the New Testament. That's in John's first chapter. The holding of tradition is like the same thing of, you're Filipino. Do you do the fucking head tap to everybody when you go and see them? When you see your uncles?
Nope.
It's just a tradition, right? I would never interpret that you disrespect or do not love your uncles. I would never interpret it that way. I don't think anybody alive who knows you well enough, right, would ever take that way, right? The tradition. So, I can see where that talk past each other, right? I am not of some tradition hold. That's why that misses me. I practice the sacrament.
I was gonna sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say I don't think either of you are like intentionally or like stuck in I just think quite literally you guys are just kind of talking past each other a little bit, a wee small little bit.
I'm trying to think of the Filipino thing is that I don't have Filipino relatives. I don't have any.
But you are Filipino.
Philippines.
But you have Filipino in you though, right?
Correct. Yes.
So I mean, if I didn't know you,
I think it'd be more so of like you and I teaching our children, right? You and I can both agree that you should be a good man and respect your elders and respect your elders. Let's just say that, right? Let's just say in the Bible of Corpse and Cisco, there's be a good man and respect your elders and blah 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 blah. Right? Respect your elders is number one commandment. My son says yes ma'am, no ma'am, shakes hands, makes eye contact, whereas your son walks on the right side of the street, opens doors for people, they're both respecting, but they're doing different things in order to respect their the elders, right? Like they don't do the same exact thing, but the number one thing is to respect their elders. But that's because my interpretation of respect may be different than your interpretation of respect.
I like that you brought up this point. I like that. And I appreciate that example more than ever because it kind of makes me go back to something earlier that I said. And guys, I know some of this is like, Putch, what are you talking about? Like, no one lives that way. I know. That's the point. It's the whole point of the whole thing. Lessons from Save to Son, lessons from Putch to Son. There is respect being shown, and there are these upstanding young gentlemen. One is doing what the other is not doing, and one is doing what the other is not doing. Now, we're interpreting and teaching our child. This is where people say, well, this is how I interpret the Bible, and how is the Bible not up for interpretation? Right here. I think this is a good example.
It's about to drop the mic.
There's an overarching image that we're wanting our children to be. There's this overarching, like, you know what? It's okay. Because Ray does X, Y, and Z, and he makes me happy. He's a good boy. Elijah, he's a good boy, and he does X, Y, and Z. But, you know, I see Ray. Right? And I love my son. But there is some qualities that he could pick up on. That is the word, right? That is this thing. And as I read,
but that also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're on a roll.
And I'm just saying, when I open it up, and I get through this part, and I start scratching my head, I'm like, okay, I can bang this out, right? And to Jordan's point on one of his earlier comments, because I appreciate this comment. Is after a while, you know, I go through some lessons and I'm like, holy smokes. And I open it up and I open up another page and it's like, oh, there's all these other parts I'm missing. Love is kind and love is patient and is not boastful. Love does not, woo. Because on this other page where Jesus was talking, he was saying, hey, I did not come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword. Huh.
Brought that shway.
Shit. Like, oh no, am I doing this wrong? Like, Am I doing this? Like, did I do this wrong? And it's like, no, you're just falling short of the qualities, and it's okay, right? Regroup. That's why, I mean, whatever, right? Like, this is why they teach that Jesus Christ was the perfect person, and that we will always fail, right? That's okay. I will always fall short of being this perfect person, right? But I have the forgiveness of this whole thing that allows me to try again tomorrow. That I don't have to draw blood from my arm or sell my car to pay off my debt of my sin debt. You know what I mean? That's where I think where we're kind of talking in the same pace, and I could feel it, right? Like, we're interpreting what a good man is. We know what a good man is, what it really stands for, right? We as people fall short of it all the time, and we fall into traditions and interpretations of things. It's the best way we know how to do it. Some people live around bodies of water. That's why they practice baptism. Some people live around places full of wheat and grapes. That's why they practice the taking of the bread and the wine, right? What is confirmation besides God looking down on Jesus and saying, this is my son with whom I'm well pleased? That's what he said. He said, this is my son with whom I am well pleased. So that's all that is God speaking inside of your body saying, I'm pleased with you. Here you are, my son, my child. Right? Like, imagine somebody walked up to your kid and called him, hey, my son, my child, I am well pleased with you. You'd be like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like, what? But there is a perfect. We don't like talking about it because we fall short of it and it kind of hurts our own feelings, but that's cool. I'm supposed to be outside those feelings. I'm trying to get out of that. Let me be outside of that and just let me be. That book's really not up for our interpretation. It's really good. It's the good word. And I just think we're taught interpretations from the moment we're born, you know? And I'm trying to dig my way out of that. If that makes sense. I don't know if that made sense.
It makes sense. I mean, I disagree, but it makes sense what you're saying.
I wholly see, especially when you made that example. I was like, I see exactly what you're saying, brother. Because one side could be my Baptist brothers, the other side could be my Seventh-day evangelists. These guys over here are these ones. I get that, but they're all still striving for the same thing. So it's less of an interpretation, and it's more of they're all falling short of the big picture. Because the big picture actually says this: we fail as believers. We fail. The book hasn't failed. That thing that sits right under my computer has not failed. That thing is, boom. Just saying.
Point received. I'm interpreting it. Hold on. No, I'm just kidding. No, I definitely, I get where both of y'all stand. I personally tend to agree that, or tend to believe that if you put it in text, you have to be able to interpret it. So
Yes.
by default, you have to be able, the text has to be interpretable. But I also agree with the idea that the whole point of the text is to outline this perfect, this striving to this perfect form that humans will just always fall short of, no matter how close you think you are. You're just miles away from it. But you try your best, and in that you can be a good man, a good woman, a good whatever you want to be. So yeah,
The Bible says you can't be that. So
can't be what?
anything you want to be.
Oh, good man,
I'm
good
just joking.
God bless.
Only because you said the good man and good woman.
But yeah,
Wait, real quick before we get off, there was a hot take that you tagged us in
garbage
on TikTok. I don't remember
wait.
what it was though.
I thought you were talking about the sinner's hot take.
Oh, that's what it
yeah.
was.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what it
okay.
was. What? I didn't remember what the guy said though.
He
Did he
said,
say that it shouldn't have won as many Grammys as it did?
he said, how the fuck did it win like an Oscar or whatever? Because is it Oscar?
Or Oscar.
Okay,
Grammys
I
is
was
music.
about to say, wait, am I fucked up? That he was saying that how is this done in 19 whatever year it was, like back in the day? How is the movie like way back in the day, but you got a modern day girl like twerking right here? How did it win so many Oscars? I was like, that's
what it was.
Such a garbage take.
You're gonna take 45 seconds of a movie, and that's gonna excuse it from winning an Oscar.
By the way, that section of the movie, if I remember correctly, I only saw it once, is highlighting the transcendent properties of music and how it emanates throughout time.
And it was filmed so well,
beautifully and so smoothly, and it literally depicts perfectly the stages of time, future, past, present, everything, so, and the different types of music so amazingly.
I had to rewind that part, my first watch through, because I was like, what the fuck is going on? There was like dudes crip dancing and shit, and I was like, hold on, I don't think I understand. And I rewound it, and then I was like, oh, it goes back to what they're fucking talking about in the beginning of the movie.
Exactly. That the music is like it's like a constant in everybody's life. It hits you.
Yeah, this dude was the howler, or whatever. What do they call it, or whatever? And he like brought the spirits of everybody.
Yeah, it hits your soul in a like a different way than anything else could.
That movie deserved every Oscar that it won.
It's a great movie. Great movie. I'm definitely glad Michael B. Jordan won over Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. I did not enjoy Marty Supreme that much.
Yeah, we know your take on that movie. I didn't watch it because of your take.
Oh wow, damn, that's kind of. I'd be interested to see what you thought about it.
Now hold on a second. Earlier, Jordan asked if we were gonna watch the new Harry Potter series starting tomorrow. I thought it started at the end of the year.
No, it's tomorrow.
It starts tomorrow.
The HBO one?
Mm-hmm.
No,
they've been posting about it. They've been
I haven't
posting
seen
about
anything.
I had only seen one thing about it. I didn't know.
Somebody Google it. Google
It's
it.
gonna flop.
Wait, hold on, I'll Google it. Wait, Pudge, what do you think about the Sinner's Take? What did you think about it?
I mean, I haven't watched the movie, so I don't have like a super opinion on it, right?
What?
That's wild.
I haven't watched the movie. Coogler, he's a cool director, right? But he does stuff like that, and he does other stuff to be like super esoteric or to like try to just like the claim that they try to write the man into the Old Testament. It's like sometimes I feel like even like with some of Kendrick Lamar's music videos and some of these videos that people be putting out, everyone tries to like write these stories and these like theories into them. And it's like, yo, dog, I'm just like
It was one of the great. It was one of the greatest movies I've seen in quite some time.
I don't know. I don't know
Great
if I
movie.
respect that fucking take because you also thought Avatar 2 and 3 were phenomenal movies, and I just
Two
don't.
was a 10 out of 10. I said
Or-
2 was a 10 out of 10.
That I
said
can't
3
trust.
was a great movie.
Okay.
And
Definitely can't trust that either.
I even said visually.
I'll say I like 2. Maybe I'm not the biggest fan of the whole Avatar series. I've seen every one at least once,
One
but
was
there's
flawless.
such a long movie that 3 was not good.
One was flawless. They should have just stopped, bro.
I
It's
would have
just-
respected them stopping.
2 was better than 1. 2 was better than 1.
No, dude. See, I can't. I can't.
The
dude.
thing is, I
Two was
think
better.
I think 1 has some nostalgia glaze on it that like nobody, you know what I mean? I think that's the case with 1, but 2 was great. 3 was like you could have left it there, bro. Could have left it at 2. We could have stopped.
I'm not disagreeing. That it could have been left at 2.
No, I know. I'm just
3
saying.
was great though. 3 was great.
Also, just really quick, apparently we're anticipating it early 2027 for the HBO Harry Potter, not tomorrow.
It's still
Teaser
gonna
or
fucking
further
tank.
announcement is expected on March 25th. Oh, okay.
It's about to
Teaser
tank.
Okay.
But apparently it's
So-
like set for 10 years or more than 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like Game of Thrones.
What the fuck? I think
Yeah, I
it's-
did hear that recently.
I like the
Well, you have to let the kids grow with the series.
but I think I think it's cool that something can be greenlit that far in advance. I think it gives if the fact that it's Harry Potter gives it a lot of breathing room to be able to like it doesn't have to prove anything like most shows that are like kind of new. They got to prove something, show that there's a fan base for it.
No, I think they still got a lot to prove.
I'm not saying
I
no. I'm not
I
saying
don't. It's the franchise.
I'm that's what I'm saying. There's
One of the
so
biggest
much
franchises on Earth.
like if you were to say like I don't know, bro, can we pitch to Warner Brothers or whoever owns the rights like a Pokemon movie? Like, oh, I don't know, I'm stressing. You don't have to stress about a fucking Pokemon, bro. Yes, they're gonna fucking shit that thing out so quick. They have nothing to prove. There's a fan base for it. But what I mean is that I think it is cool that something can be greenlit that far in advance, so we know that there's like no sudden like, oh, this thing had to be canceled because it wasn't greenlit for this many seasons or whatever.
Bro, if you gave me an original series Pokemon
Oh, okay,
like-
live action.
Indigo live action where it's him having to go through all 8 badges and fighting the Elite 4, I'm watching it no matter what.
No.
Even if it
See,
sucks,
that's
I'm watching it.
the
Wow.
part I think. I think that's a part that you get. I don't know. Maybe for me, it's where I got a feeling it's going to be a shit series. It's not going to work out. They're going to pull it.
I don't. Whoa, that's great.
Whoa,
But
that's
they've
crazy.
already
through
greenlit it.
HBO through
So what?
HBO. That's crazy.
So
That's
what?
Crazy.
The books, phenomenal. Movies, phenomenal. Let's just see track records of other ones, right? Pokemon, cartoon, phenomenal. Trading
All
cards,
of them. All
Phenomenal.
all
of
of the cartoon series that have come out have been amazing.
Pokemon, fucking nominal. Movies,
hot take alert. Hot take alert.
What Pokemon
Movies?
movie has been shit? What Pokemon movie has been shit?
Hot take alert, bro. He froze because
Look,
that
he
was such a
froze.
bad
He-
take, bro.
Detective Pikachu.
All
trash.
right, that's because of
What?
Ryan Reynolds.
No.
I've actually never
Detective
seen that
Pikachu
movie.
was
I've never
not
seen that
trash.
movie.
It was not. It was not. It was not trash. I'm sorry.
Isn't there Detective Pikachu
want,
too?
I want to agree with you so bad. I want to agree with you so bad.
The very
I thought
first-
the movie was gonna be shit. But guess what? Guess what? That wasn't just like a movie that they
Wait.
decided to make. Detective Pikachu was a game. It was a game that they came
Yeah.
out with, and they
Video
made the
games, all the
movie.
other stuff, right? Great. Movies, have never even scratched near the success, bro. And
You're tripping.
you
You're tripping.
cannot cap, bro.
The
Pull
original
up the numbers.
Pokemon movie, Pokemon 2000, Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes
The
Back,
first,
then the remake.
the very first Pokemon movie, I will give you. Strike Back, waste of
Pokemon
time.
2000. Look at the numbers on Pokemon 2000.
With the 3 dogs?
Wait, hold on. I'm pulling it up right now. But this also looks like a Japanese release or something.
No good. No good.
You're tripping, dog.
Nobody, bro, that's in nobody's conversation.
Nobody who that watches Pokemon?
Anybody you ever talk about, anybody that talks about any anime movies, cartoon movies back from the 90s and early 2000s, none of those movies get named ever. You know which one does get named? The first Pokemon movie. And that, I think, is the only valid answer of any of those movies.
Pokemon movie 2000 made $100 million. Its budget was 30 million. No, yeah, its budget was 30 million worldwide.
How much did the first one take in?
Worldwide, it was 133 million. Wait, what was the first one? Oh, the first Pokemon movie.
The first Pokemon movie.
Yeah, it came out in 1998.
Yeah, it was 98.
I'm pretty sure 98.
Box
98 or
office
99.
for it did similar numbers. Budget for the first Pokemon movie was $30 million. It made $163 million worldwide.
Holy smokes.
Very
Bro,
similar.
Bro, in 98? Oh my god, bro.
Look
I
up
love
Detective Pikachu. Let me see the numbers on Detective Pikachu.
The ratings for it were not that high. I haven't looked at the ratings for the other one. Wait, but it's above 50%, I will say. But
bro, but in shadows compared to the other two movies,
I think
bro.
it did better than the other two movies, box office wise, and it definitely
What?
did.
I'm gonna agree with that. Statement.
150
It was our first live action Pokemon movie. Are you kidding me?
$150 million was the budget, but it made $433 million.
Well, that's not too bad.
It made
Bro, with 150 million,
More
you
than
better
double.
be pulling in that type of money.
Half
You
a
better be
billion.
pulling in that type of money. You better be pulling in that with
half a
$150 million budget. They had 5 times the budget with that thing, bro. 5 times.
That's true.
You didn't even bring in 5 times the profit. Like, be real. Like, I'm just saying it's a number. Like, whatever. Be real. Be really real. Like, be really, really. What other cartoon franchise
Hold
that
on,
made dabbles into movies?
because the box office numbers for these are not that good either. For the first Pokemon movies, Rotten Tomatoes has. Let me just make sure this is right. This is a 17%.
Out of
Yeah,
100?
because they made a remake. That's probably why.
It was done in 1999.
No. But the Rotten Tomatoes number probably went down because of the remake.
Oh,
Oh,
I
after the
see. They,
remake,
tanked
yeah.
the first one.
I mean, the
Okay.
CGI
Maybe.
one was cool on that, but it's like at the same time as like a real movie connoisseur like that. Like sometimes just leave the original one as it is. It was flawless. They did not add or take away from that thing other than the animation style. So it's like if you're really
Yeah, they did. The storyline was similar, but the movie wasn't the same. It wasn't like a shot for shot remake.
Cisco, but
It
we're
wasn't.
talking about at least, bro. I'm gonna say over 75%, almost copy and paste.
It was. I'll give you. It was very similar. I'll give you that.
Almost
I'll give you
copy
that it
and
was very.
paste.
I'll
Wait,
give you that it was very similar.
For the Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score was actually 79%.
Anyways, this takes away from your argument, Corpse. The Harry Potter franchise is gonna be great, and there's no way they.
I don't know
end
if it's gonna be great. We
It's
just have to
gonna be.
wait. We just have to wait to find out. I'm hopeful for it. I'm hoping it's gonna be great. But I was just speaking to the fact that I'm glad a project, and I was just trying to say, granted, like it has legs already. Like it doesn't have to prove itself that it has a fan base. It does have a fan base. Can
I'm
be
gonna call it
greenlit
right
for
now.
10 years.
I'm gonna call it right now. This podcast won't be around anymore, but I'm gonna call it right now. D and I are gonna put message after the first episode and say, I can't wait till next week's episode or whatever, and Putch is gonna find some way to shit on it. I promise you.
No,
I
I'm
promise
gonna
you.
watch it in good faith. Like
I'm sure you will, but you're gonna find some
Mhm.
way to shit on it. I promise you will. And I might too. I might find like something that like, oh, they fucked up by not adding this, because I love the books just as much as anybody, right? And that's what I'm very hopeful for when it comes to this show, because I've harped on it very much. Again, 4 is my favorite book. 4 is the worst movie in my opinion because of how far of a difference they make the adaptation from movie to book, or from book to movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot that, because when they gave us Hogwarts Legacy, the video game, shit made my dick hard because they added so much detail into that game from the book lore. Like, you could go into the elves' kitchen. Peeves is fucking running around all randomly. Like, there's so much from the book.
So how are you going to fill them when they stray away from the content of the book? That's got nothing to do with any of the lore, and they just made it up on their own.
Well, that's what I'm hopeful that they will not do, because
Hmm.
they've already said this is gonna be a book to TV adaptation. That's what they said.
They're already off. I mean, okay.
Why? Because Snape.
They're off. Mhm.
Literally thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to say nothing.
Hey, I'm just brave enough to say what y'all was thinking. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna throw
next
that
they're
out
gonna
there.
say something about Dumbledore being gay. Like, okay, bro. I'm just kidding. No, but
He was always gay.
I know
I thought that was always the thing that he was gay.
He was.
Are they not
always gay.
making him gay now?
He's not gay anymore. No.
He's not gay
Look,
anymore?
But
Even better. No, I'm just kidding.
But he's like, if you don't give me a gay Dumbledore,
Bro, Dumbledore, you guys didn't see the
No.
teaser? Bro, Dumbledore walks in with 2 Miami BBL bitches.
My man.
the baddest bitches in the wizardry
That
world.
is exactly.
I mean, the fact that they try to paint like that Dumbledore had like a secret love for Harry, I thought was like, all right, y'all need to chill out. Like, he liked Grindelwald, whatever. I'll take that, but we ain't about to make him a pervert now. Like,
I can look past the Snape thing.
Dumbledore founded
now.
the Epstein
No,
For
files.
now. For now.
If he's as good of an actor as they say,
That's what I'm saying.
it
If
won't
he's
be a
shit Snape,
problem.
Who is this guy?
if he's
again?
a shit Snape, then I can say that he's a shit Snape. But
All
again,
I'm saying-
but again, we have to keep in mind that we gotta take the movie out of our heads to watch this, and watch it with clear and open blind eyes.
I'm trying. So the thing is they're setting it up bad. That's my problem. On one second you say it's book to film. You're casting whatever. If it was from a black to a white character, white to red to green to yellow, I don't give a fuck. You're already messing it up. People are going to step into this thing with this certain facade over their eyes of expecting a certain thing, and they're not going to get it. And dude, I could just, Twitter's ready to be mad all the fucking time.
When is Twitter not mad?
Log off.
Let's be
I
real.
love it. But those are the same crazy people who go on Rotten Tomatoes and leave reviews, bro. Those are the same type of people. So I'm just saying the Mad Horde it's the Acolyte movie, and people can say what they want. There was a non-gendered person in Acolyte. The girl was like, I think is a lesbian in real life. Didn't care, but I don't care about none of that. It was the greatest some of the greatest Star Wars content ever. But it tanked because Twitter got involved. I just see it. As much as I love Harry Potter,
I don't care what Twitter says. I care
and
what
all the stuff,
Hutch says.
I hope it does well. I do not see it doing well. I hope it's good. I hope Homeboy succeeds as Snape. I really,
Just
truly,
him.
honestly,
Just him. You just hope he succeeds.
of all people, of all of them, yes. Show, please make my imagination jump, please.
Are they?
That's the
Are
problem.
they bringing my boy Lucius back? They are.
I
right?
don't think so.
I thought they were.
They're trying to. Well, I had heard that they were trying to cast for another Narcissa Malfoy, but that is just like.
I
Hard.
thought that I read somewhere that Lucius was coming back.
I
I heard originally that they were trying to get Ben to play Lucius, and then I heard that Lucius actor was coming back.
he's too old now. It's
Yeah, I
too
don't know.
old. He's too much of a jump. That was the thing when I heard that allegedly that they're going to try to like lock this in for 12 years, 10 years, like they're doing with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, so they can watch the kids grow up. It's a good idea, but the problem is that you're trying to lock down 12-year-olds into a 10-year contract. Buddy, they change a lot. I mean, our kids aren't even 10, bro, and how much
but
have
they
they
already
changed?
did that with Harry Potter. They already did that with the 3 original.
Vastly different though, brother. We're talking about 3 kids, 7 movies.
8.
Eight. 8 movies.
Yeah,
3 kids.
over the course of how long?
But also,
though?
yeah, they didn't change. Did they change any of the like?
They didn't change anybody
cast?
else.
Yeah,
All the
any
other
of the
actors,
cast?
unless they died.
Dumbledore died.
Yeah,
Right.
but look
Oh,
at
yeah.
But you
McGonagall.
have-
She stayed the whole time.
But yeah, but you
But you
can't
have-
contract people who are like in heaven, bro.
Yeah, you have the 3 people who's your main bangers, right? And these other 6 like supporting casts, right?
It was
Now,
way
if they're
more than
wanting
6,
to
my G.
now if they're wanting to expand, so to your point, right? If they're wanting to expand and lock all of these people into 10 years, bro, like we're talking about a lot of extra characters, people who just can't be, they're in one movie one time and then they're not in the next movie at all, like, because they just didn't catch that scene. 1 second, what was his name? Dean Thomas was like 4 foot tall. The next time you see him, he's like 7 foot. They can hide. You can get him to come back later. Wow. Robin Williams wasn't the genie in all of the Aladdin movies.
That's voice though. That's a little bit different.
I mean, we can get stuck in the details if you guys really want. The point
We're talking about like physical people.
I think it's just
who'll
going to be
notice.
harder. It's going to be harder to get past 10 seasons when you're talking 3 movies over a span of years when shooting is only so long.
But
right.
they just did it with Game of Thrones. All those characters were the same. They did it with The Sopranos. They did it with fucking Breaking
but the main
Bad.
characters.
They did it with fucking.
The main characters aren't children though. That's a part. I think that's the problem. That is the problem.
The main characters in Game of Thrones were children.
I think
almost all of them.
I think also
Sophie Turner. How old was Sophie Turner?
Who's that? Sansa?
Yeah. How old was she during the recording?
She was like 12.
No, not like the character Sansa. I'm talking about.
Yeah, she was like 12 years old, bro.
No,
13.
Sophie Turner was not 12 years old during the recording of Game of Thrones.
She was 13.
Look it up.
She was 13.
Thank you very
What?
much.
Yep. When it started. But
I'll give you her.
I will
I'm on a
also
roll
say
tonight.
I will also
Arya
say
was like
her
Arya's
the-
character was like
Arya
10,
was even
bro,
younger,
or
yeah.
9.
Who?
Arya's character was,
I'll give you
like
the
9 or 10.
3. I'll give you the 3 young Starks, but everybody else is adults, bro.
What? No, Theon was like 15, maybe 14 or 15. So was fucking Rob. Maybe Rob 17, maybe. But I guarantee you, Jon Snow's character, he was also 15. What about
Kit
Joffrey?
Harington was not that young.
Look how young Joffrey was, and Tommen.
I'll give you some of the kids on that. I'll give you Game of
I just
Thrones.
But
named
also-
5
but
or 6
also-
different kids.
Game of Thrones. I
I
will
just
give. I will
named 5
give you
or
Game
6
of Thrones.
different kids.
No, but also I will say I think we're underestimating how easy it is to probably lock actors, especially young, not very known actors, into contracts that are going to be 10 years long, because like what actor
for a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
and what actors would be like, nah, I don't want to work for that long. Oh, what?
Multi-billion-dollar franchise and a multi-billion-dollar company. 2 multi-billion.
And probably a
companies, HBO and Warner Brothers.
multi-million-dollar contracts individually. Like for Harry just by itself, I can't even imagine to hold that sort of responsibility, to have so much riding on this kid.
That's why Daniel Radcliffe could go make these dumbass movies like the Weird Al Yankovic movie, because he's still spending Harry Potter money, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, this fool just put something in here. I wanted to look it up. How old was
Yeah.
Theon? Theon Greyjoy in Game
Look
of
it
Thrones.
up,
Kit
D. Look
Harington
it up,
was
D.
23.
No, Kit Harington was not 23 when
The
that
act-
show
He was.
started.
I just looked it up. He was 23
When the
years
show
old.
started?
Yes, he was 32 when it concluded. In Game of Thrones.
Wait, who?
Actor.
Who am I looking up?
Wow. Look up how old Theon Greyjoy's character
The
25. Okay, all right, you got me.
Alf
You got
Allen
me.
was 23 or 24
16.
years old.
16 to
It
19.
says 20. Kelly said 25.
Game of
at the
Thrones
start.
character, suppose.
Wow, the Sophie Turner surprised me because I've seen her in other stuff besides Game of Thrones. So there's a few on there I'll give you for sure though. Like yes, they were young, and yes, I think I may be underestimating the power to lock them in, but I think sometimes we might also underestimate the power of stardom, and then motherfuckers want to see big bucks.
I mean, yeah, they probably
Um,
want to renegotiate it.
Yeah, but not when you're locking in a contract like that for 10 years, bro.
It's
and,
gotta be good.
and also
it's gonna have to be.
within those contracts, I'm sure they've like it'd be stupid for me to get a contract and they want me to be Harry Potter, and then they're like, all right, sign this 10-year deal, you get multi-million dollars, whatever. And I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. I want to make sure that in 3 to 5 years we could revisit and I could renegotiate based off of XYZ.
Yeah.
Because if I'm
Yeah,
getting
they're
That's
not
what they
locked
did for
in
Game of
anything.
Thrones. Game of Thrones, they all renegotiated their
Yeah,
contracts.
they're not locking in 10 years. They're not, bro. No one's that goofy.
They're not doing that.
That's a really bad business move.
they're not
I-
doing that. But also
But
just like
there's no way that look. I'll just put it to you like this: if Ron, Hermione, or Harry, any of those 3 actors decide that they no longer want to do it, that's probably when they'll cut it.
That's when it's going to become an issue. And I'm just saying, any
But
of
I
those
don't see it
star
becoming an
characters,
issue.
I think they throw money. Yeah, I think they throw money at them before they do that.
I don't think they're going to have the money to drop the bag. I just don't. I think they're going to get in a little over, bro.
I think you are underestimating very highly how much this show is gonna have success.
I mean, Harry Potter, just the whole thing just came up with a new limited series of book cover releases, right? So they
just
got
saw it,
cat,
and
like
it
they
looks
got
fucking
cash.
Awesome.
And they
Right,
did
like,
their
yeah,
game. They did the game. That
They're
one.
coming out with the
game-
second. They're coming out with the second
Hey.
one.
But I'm just saying, it's like, yes, you have a fan base that's built in, right? That you have to stand on. But dog, I've watched Star Wars fans turn, bro, and not just on Twitter, all over.
No, definitely. I mean,
Like,
there's
turn on fucking the franchise, bro.
there's
Yeah,
definitely
but think of how well
Game of
Think of it.
Thrones. Game
But
of
look-
Thrones turned on them.
the spin-offs. House of Dragons, I'll give you, was okay. I refuse to watch that other one.
No, the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, the fans turned on the show.
it wasn't
Oh,
even
yeah,
that
but-
bad. Was
It-
not
it was
that
But
bad.
kinda
the
bad.
fact remains, though, like
Wasn't that
the
bad.
fans as a collective turned and were like, "Yo, this is like the
there
worst
was a
shit ever."
reason. There was a reason. There was nothing else left to go off of. They had no.
It was
more-
bad writing.
Correct. They can't do that with Harry Potter. They've got plenty to go off of.
Not if
Plenty.
and it's finished material, so they're not like last season be like, oh shit, what do we do? It's like,
Yeah,
bro,
what do
we
we
already
do?
got
What do
it,
we
bro.
do?
It's right here. The sauce is right here. We just gotta put that shit on there.
I was saying that's where I'm putting my finger on the pulse. That's why I'm telling you guys. I hope homie does get it. I hope everyone does well. I hope that
Look, it's still hope homie does it. Oh, okay. All right. Let's end the podcast.
I hope
I gotta put
they
my
all
son to
do
bed.
well. I hope they all do phenomenal. Matter of fact, that's how I'm going to sign off. Matter of fact, thank you guys for watching the Usual Tuesday podcast. My name is
Wow.
Corpse, corpsecollection.com. I hope that the Harry Potter show does phenomenal. I hope every single person who's casted is able to stick around and really make my imagination come back to life, make me feel like a young kid again. I hope the writing is phenomenal, because I do believe that if it is not, every fan is going to turn on it, just like the 6 Star Wars fans. So do well, HBO. I love you. Hope you guys all have a good day, week, month, year in life. Until next time.
I'll go.
They're gonna do great. All right, go ahead.
Listen, thank you so much for watching. If you were here the whole time, I appreciate you. If you're watching on the playback, thank you so much. Whether you're here for an hour, a second, a minute, the whole time, I appreciate you regardless. Well, we got like 6 more episodes.
Don't remind me.
Something like that. Bro, it's really sad. I was literally thinking like maybe we could just talk offline like every week at some point. Bro, we've been talking most Tuesdays, usually on Tuesday, every week for years. That's crazy to not have that anymore. So we actually have to develop a time to just chat with each other.
I think you need to look in the mirror.
Is something in my nose or something?
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, is there really?
No.
Oh. What does that mean?
Because you're the one who wants to still talk every week, but you're the one who wants to leave.
Yeah, the pod. Listen, the pod. Anyway, listen, we've talked about it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.
So many hot takes tonight.
We need more hot takes. We need a hot takes episode. It's been a minute.
Give us a hot takes episode next week. You're the best with the hot takes.
I don't think I am. I don't even know how I
I'm sure I
started
could.
doing that.
You know what? How about we go? Each of us go on Reddit and pull 3 to 5 hot takes each.
We all get a couple hot takes.
Ooh, I don't have a Reddit account.
You don't need one. Just go on Google.
Just go on Google and type in Reddit hot takes.
Mm,
I'm
And
going to
it'll
send you
take you
guys a
right
bunch
to-
of hot takes off of Twitter all the time.
Yeah,
Look
but
at
it's
this.
like,
that recent one was terrible.
the recent
Those
one,
are really
I'm not
bad.
talking about that online.
Yeah.
And
What,
I'm
the
not
sinners
even gonna
one?
say, and I'm not even gonna say how you messaged it to us.
Oh,
That
Tucker
was-
cooked that lady.
Nah,
that
that
was-
was.
You want me to say it? I should say it.
I should
no,
say
no,
it.
no, don't say it. Don't say
You
it.
guys want me to
No,
say
no,
it?
no, no,
No.
don't say
Did I
it.
say the word? I'll say it.
No, but
Say
genuinely,
it.
that clip was. I've grown to not like. I've grown to not like people who are pedantic like this. We need to end this podcast.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night. I gotta go. I gotta put my son to bed. To all the viewers, Kelly, Jordan, thank you guys for Googling stuff tonight and being involved. Harry Potter's gonna do great. And I'll see you guys next week. As always, you guys stay healthy, stay happy. I love y'all. Keep smiling. Catch you on the next one.
Peace.
All right, boys.
Bye. I got to pee so bad, chat. Listen, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Be safe. Don't do anything silly. Don't do some silly shit. Don't be doing it. Oh my God, I have to pee, but I want to say goodbye to you. I don't know what's going on, bro. Please. All right, fuck it. I don't know. I don't know if this camera's coming up. Are we gaming? Probably not. I have to chat with my mom real quick. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Peace. Wait, look. Wide angle. I got this light above me now. Look at this. Light above me. Just so that way I can have a little bit of more luminance. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys.